Hello again, not from the floor of my apartment, but from an actual chair today. This is just for lighting purposes. So lately I've been getting a lot of messages on how to move to Japan, so I thought I'd make this a step-by-step guide on how to move to Japan in 2022. Now, of course, keep in mind this is all from my personal experience. There are so many different ways that you can move to Japan. I just wanted to focus on two today, which is coming as an English teacher and coming as a student. So let's get into it. Let's start with English teacher. So coming here as an English teacher can be a little limiting because one, you have to be from a native English-speaking country, or what they consider a native English-speaking country. Two, you have to have a college degree. And three, you have to actually have some interest in teaching English. Teaching English is not just a job you can do with your eyes closed. You're being trusted with the education of students, so this is a job that you do need to take seriously. Let's say you meet these three requirements. What do you do now? Step number one, do your research. Find English teaching companies that are hiring right now in 2022. The way that I did this is I went on YouTube and Google and I looked for other people's first-hand experience working for these companies and applying to these companies. YouTube is where I got a lot of my information. That's actually why I wanted to make this video, to kind of give back. Sorry, there's a literal airplane flying over me. So I made a video on some of the companies that I like. I'll link that down below. You can make a Google Docs or Google Sheets thing for the companies that you find, comparing them, maybe list the pay from each company, what they provide, housing, a car, flights. They all provide different things, so having a Google Docs or Google Sheets where you compare all of them might be helpful. It's something that I wish I did if I was super organized like that back then. I was not. Usually you will go directly to their website to apply to these companies. There are some websites that list jobs in Japan. I will link them down below. One of the big ones is Gaijinpot, interestingly named, super famous website. They also provide help for foreigners looking for apartments, looking for jobs. They have a lot of resources on that website. Super helpful, definitely check it out. So yeah, once you have found the companies you want to apply for, you have to actually start applying to them. So step two is apply to some English teaching companies. Once you submit your application will require some work. It did take time. Usually you have to write an essay on why you want to live in Japan, why you want to teach English. Then you also need about 2 letters of recommendation from your current employers or teachers or someone like that, which can be annoying because then you have to rely on other people to get your application in by a certain deadline. Yeah, also pay attention to the deadlines. A lot of English teaching companies only hire from overseas during a certain period of time. There are a few that are always hiring, like Eon. Those are usually Eikaiwas. So yes, your essay, your 2 letters of recommendation, there will be an application that you have to fill things out. And once your application is submitted, if it's a good application, you will receive a call from the company and it's basically a screening, pre-interview screening to make sure you're worth their time in interviewing. So it's either just a phone call or sometimes they'll schedule a Skype call or sometimes both. So once you pass the application, the screening, then you get the actual interview. So step 3 is going to the actual interview. Sometimes this will be in person. Some companies have overseas recruitment offices. For the company I work for now was in person in New York City. Other times it will be over Skype. I had 2 in person and 1 over Skype. The Skype one would have been in person if it wasn't for the pandemic, but you know. Those interviews, they're basically looking for 2 things. Well, okay, so maybe 3 things. Are you friendly and approachable? You're going to be a cultural ambassador. You're not just an English teacher, you're also representing your country in whatever town you move to. Another thing they're gonna look for is how committed are you to actually uprooting your life and moving to Japan. This is a huge thing. It's really hard moving to another country, and I think a lot of people underestimate how difficult it really is. They want to make sure you are committed to actually moving here. Third thing they're looking for, are you going to be committed to this position? You're not just coming here for a year vacation, you're also going to be working for their company. There's a reason why they are paying for your flights and your accommodation and hiring you for their company. They need someone who is going to work and do a good job. That being said, you don't need any prior experience teaching English or teaching at all. That's what they're looking for in the interview. One interview I had did require a lesson demo, which I am debating posting my lesson demo, but it is kind of embarrassing. But watching other people's videos on YouTube did help me prepare for mine, so I am debating posting my super embarrassing video. It did get me the job. Comment down below if you want to see it. Maybe I'll consider it. So yeah, once you do the interview, if you pass the interview, you will be getting some job offers, and then you have to choose a company. I got 3 job offers. One of them, the salary was so low, they were kind of like my backup company, that I didn't even consider them since I got the other 2. My first choice company did send me a job offer, but they couldn't get me in the country till April, and I highly suspected that the borders were going to reclose because of coronavirus, and I didn't want to risk waiting that long, so I said no to them, and I went with my second choice because they were able to get me into the country sooner. And I'm so glad I did, because my instincts were correct. The borders did close again, and I would not be in Japan right now if I didn't go with the second company. I am really happy with the second company. I can't tell you who they are because I am still currently working for them. So yeah, I'm happy with my second choice. They took care of my accommodation, they took care of my flight, they gave me a full-time job that I really enjoyed for a year. Don't get me wrong, it had its ups and downs, but overall it was a positive experience. Once you accept a job offer, your company will start going forward with getting you in the country. So they're going to ask you for a lot of paperwork. Actually, they're going to ask you for this paperwork in the interview process to make sure you're able to provide all this paperwork so that they can even get you a visa. So they're going to ask for your passport. They're going to ask for a passport sized photo. They're going to ask for so much information, your college degree. I feel like there's more. I feel like I had to go on a paperwork quest. There might have been more. With COVID there was more, but I mentioned all of that in another video, which I will link down below. So once you accept a job offer, you have all of your paperwork submitted, then your company is going to help you along the way with the rest of the steps, setting up a date and time to get you moved and settled into your new life in Japan. Because of that, that's one of the reasons why I think teaching English is the best way to move here. It's a great way to get your foot in the door in Japan, so even if you don't want to teach English forever, you could branch out after you moved here. Like once your contract's over, if you want to pivot into another career, it's easier to do that once you're already here. Yeah, if you speak Japanese, then you don't have to be an English teacher. You'll have way more options. Again, there are many other ways that you can move to Japan. You don't have to just come as an English teacher. Even if you don't speak Japanese, I think there's a lot of jobs in tech that they need English speakers for. If you don't want to come here as an English teacher, if you're not interested in teaching English, you don't have a bachelor's degree, or you're not from a native English speaking country, another great way to come to Japan and live here is as a student. Similar to step 1 of English teaching, find a school that you want to attend. So there are actually English-speaking universities in Japan where you can get your degree. There's quite a few, so do your research, find an English-speaking university. Or if you don't want to get your degree, you can come to a Japanese language school. You can actually get a student visa just to study Japanese, which is something I might be doing soon. I will update you on that later in another video. But there's an actual awesome website that you can use to help you along this journey of finding your best school, of helping you with accommodation, of helping you with visa stuff, and that is GoGoNihon. I'll link it down below. I didn't use this site. I considered using it, but because I already live here, I decided against it. But if I was coming from abroad, I definitely would have used this site. They really help you out with all of the things that are difficult, like the visa, the accommodation, the finding of the best school for you. So choose, are you coming for a university or are you coming for Japanese language school? You do need some money to support yourself during your time as a student to be granted this student visa. I think it's about 20,000 USD. Yes, if you don't have that money, which most of us don't have that money, you can use a guarantor. If you don't have a guarantor, it might be something worth saving up for, working a job, storing away money for this. And once you learn Japanese, you'll have a much easier time getting a job here if you want to stay here after school. Step 2 of coming here as a student is, again, doing the application process. GoGoNihon will help you with that, and if you're doing it on your own, the school is pretty supportive and will help you too. Once you submit your application, school will help you with all of the rest, and that's really it. Yeah, so those are some ways that you can possibly move to Japan in 2022. Again, right now the borders are still closed. Hopefully they'll open up this summer or next year. They can't stay closed forever. It's been really hard for a lot of people, including me. I haven't been able to go home and visit my family. I would start applying now. It does take about 6 months from the application process to actually getting you in the country. So now's a great time to apply for next year. I hope this helps. Please comment down below if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. You can also message me on Instagram. My Instagram is linked down below. It's amberrose_o. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.